Hi everyone, welcome back. Now that you have a motion graphic animation, let's talk about a few more ways to kind of polish it up with audio specifically. Now, we've been working in Adobe After Effects, but for video editing and audio editing, it's actually better to work in Adobe Premiere. So I know this might be, some of you might have never used Adobe Premiere Pro, but and you might not have it downloaded on your computers. But if you do want to take your video editing to the next level, I would recommend downloading Premiere Pro. It's included in the Adobe Creative Cloud account, and exporting your animation from After Effects, and then taking that exported video into Premiere. All right, so for example, I have a new project open in Premiere. I'm not going to go over a lot of the details and not going to do a tutorial on how to use Premiere. There's plenty of those out there. But it works very similar to After Effects in some ways. I mean, it's a media editor, so video and audio. I've made a new project, and then first step is to import media. So if I come here, file, and then import, I can find my exported video, press import, and this is under the project window here. Let me go ahead and also import the voiceover and the music. Now you'll notice I already have a folder. In Premiere they call them bins, but I'm just going to call it a folder. I already have a folder imported called sound effects. In here, and this is on canvas, but in here there's all kinds of sound effects that you can use for this project and beyond. In this case, at the bottom, there's a lot of good ones that you can look for in the YouTube Essential Audio Pack. So I have these downloaded and have them imported, so we'll keep those there for now. And then I'm going to, you can see here in the timeline, it just says drop media here to create a sequence. So it's very easy. This exported video, I can just click and drag and drop, and it puts it in here. And again, this is the about 6 or 7 seconds of the animation that I had made in the previous video, the motion graphics advertisements. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get the voiceover in here. Again, I'm just clicking on it. I see it here in the project window. I'm going to click and drag onto the A1 channel. Now, a big difference in Premiere from After Effects is that in this timeline where you're editing, you have multiple video channels and multiple audio channels. In After Effects, you're pretty much just editing and creating motion through different graphics and animation. But again, Premiere is a video and audio editor. So when you're editing lots of videos together, there's going to be lots of clips and also lots of audio sources, and that's why this makes it easier to separate them and to move them around accordingly. All right, so I have just the V1, which is the clip exported motion graphics, and you'll see on A1 it gives a little preview of the waveform for the audio. So as I play it,
Sweat Treats hot sauce blends rare chilies and refined.
You'll notice that the waveform starts at about a second and a half. Well, we want to have it at the beginning. So with clips like this, you can actually just hover over the left and right side of the clip. And you'll see when I move my cursor over to the left side, it changes to this red bracket and arrow. I can click on that and change where that clip starts. So it's basically cutting off that section that was there, but it was no audio anyway. Now I can click and drag and move this over. So it's gonna should line up better now.
Sweat Treats hot sauce blends rare chilies and refined spices into subtle heat and layered complexity. Sweat Treats hot sauce.
And my animation ends here, so I'm actually going to end my audio there as well.
Sweat Treats hot sauce blends rare chilies and refined spices into subtle heat and layered complexity.
Okay. So this is where we'll get into mixing the audio a little bit later, but this is where I would recommend, before you put in your music, going in there and adding sound effects. Sound effects, if they are appropriate to your project, they may not be appropriate for everyone's work, but if they're appropriate for the advertisement, the animation that you have made, then I would definitely recommend you have your voiceover first, and then going in and looking through the sound effects to bring it to life a little bit more. So a lot of them is going to come down to kind of like pops and whooshes. These are common things you'll see in animations, explainer videos, and other things on social media. For example, and I'm going to mute, if you press the little M here, I can mute the voiceover so I can just watch the video. So let's see. As the peppers pop up, notice I use the word they pop up, so it kind of clues me in. I'm probably gonna look for little pop noises, and I just so happen to know that down here, again in the folder for the YouTube Essential Audio Pack and MP3, there are some pops. There's also at the top, there's some like bubble pop sounds as well. So if I double click on this, it brings it up here, and then I can click, hit the space bar and play it. And you know, there's a bunch of different options. I'm gonna look for one. So let's just, for the sake of it, let's just go with this one. I'm gonna move my voiceover track down so it's easier to see here in this blank space. This is where we can start adding our sound effects. So I'm gonna click and drag, pop over, and I'm moving the view of the timeline around because I'm not having any other videos, so I don't need to see all the other video channels. We're mostly working with audio in this project. Okay, so I'm gonna duplicate this, bring it down here as well, so I can see. All right, so just like that, I'm gonna go through this very quickly. With these 3 pop layers, they're kind of overlapping because it's happening so fast. It gives that effect of this multiple pops as the peppers come up. And if I unmute the voiceover now.
Sweat Treats hot sauce blends rare chilies.
So that's the process we're gonna be working with. Now again, so we have some pops, we also have some maybe kind of a whoosh sound as the word arises. And you know, as you describe the sounds or what's happening in motion, you might as well look for those words in sound effects, because under pop there's also risers. I don't have all of these sound effects memorized of which ones would work. We're kind of going this along this demo in real time. So that's why if I double click on one, yeah, that's a little long. We'll see if some of these, nope, don't like that one. None of these might work. Actually, that one, let's try it. Let's see if this one will work. So I'm going to click and drag it in. So it comes in about right here. That's actually not too bad. Probably still a little bit long. So if you click on a clip and then right click or control click on that clip, you can change the speed and duration. So right now, this is about 1.5 seconds, but I can just look at the percentage. If I want it to be like twice as fast, I'll change the speed to 200 and press OK. That shortens it, so let's try that now. That's not too bad. All right, let's take a listen to it.
Sweat Treats hot sauce blends rare chilies and refined spices.
Okay. All right, and we'll do it one more time so you get the idea. Maybe on the fire as it lifts up. Another kind of whoosh there. We have some whooshes. Yeah, I'll try this one. So that's too fast. So I'm going to change the speed and duration of this one as well. So I'm going to right click or control click. And instead of speeding it up, we're going to slow it down. So I'm going to type in 50% to basically make it last twice as long and twice as slow. Let's see if this works a little bit better. Yeah, not too bad. And with the voiceover turned back on.
And layered complexity. Sweat Treats hot sauce blends rare chilies and refined spices into subtle heat and layered complexity.
Okay, so with all of the motion happening in here, we have the pops for the peppers. We have a whoosh for the text coming in. I would do it for all of these as well, and kind of maybe a flame crackling campfire sound effect. You definitely can find those as well, and I believe there's some in this sound effects sample pack. You know, I'd add all that stuff in there, and then you know, to give it a whole lot more life. And then finally, we're gonna go back and add music. It's the same music I had for the other demo video. This one is much longer, and I'll show you again. This is the waveform. So we want to find a better starting place. Might have to search for it a little bit. There we go. That's the kind of the chorus area that feels the most alive and most energetic. And it starts right on the downbeat. If I zoom in and come to about right here, it's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to go ahead and put my playhead right here. And if I use the keyboard shortcut C, it brings up the cut tool or the razor blade tool, also right here. And I can make a cut right at that point. Let me move the playhead. You can see very slightly a cut in the clip. So now these are separated clips. So the first one, I can just press delete. I don't need that anymore. So it starts where I need it to. So I'm going to drag it all the way to the beginning. And now,
Sweat Treats hot sauce blends rare chilies and refined spices into subtle heat and layered complexity.
all right. Now this, ideally we would find a better ending point. You know, this demo is only like 6.5 seconds long. So yours would always be a little bit longer to get that 15-second mark. And the audio would ideally end at a better place. But I will go ahead and show you to have it maybe fade out at the very least. You don't want the audio just strangely and abruptly end. To have it fade out, I can make another cut. I'll just go ahead and, again, keyboard shortcut C, make a cut here, select that last clip, delete. So now it does end very abruptly. Not great. So at the very least, we want to have a fade out. Now, in Premiere and even Adobe Audition, which is an audio editor, they actually use keyframes just like Adobe After Effects. So for the volume, we have this white line. This controls the volume level. But as I have this selected, whenever I put my playhead, let's say I want to start fading out like about right here, you'll notice there's a little diamond here. It adds a keyframe just like what you've been used to in After Effects. So I have my playhead right here. I'm going to click on that. It adds a little diamond here. I'm going to go to the end, click it again, and in this case, I can click directly on the keyframe and drag it down and over to the right. So the volume, which is visually represented by this white line, it's steady throughout the whole music piece until it gets to this point, and then it progressively gets quieter until it gets down to 0, and that is a fade out. Let's back it up a little bit. So it's not perfect, it's not ideal. If I was doing this for real at an actual advertisement for a client, I would find more elegant solutions for having the audio properly end in a good place. But because we're not there for this project, I'm fine with you guys just having a simple fade out at the very least. Okay. One last thing with audio, you'll notice as we play this, the music is very loud. We can't really hear the voiceover that well, and that's the most important part. The sound effects probably are a little bit too loud as well. So we're going to go in there and actually mix the audio a little bit to get everything to fit a little nicer. So in Premiere, you have this option here to change your workspace. Right now, this is in the editing workspace to show you a lot of the windows and the tools you need for editing the video together. I'm going to change it to audio. So when we get this, we see the audio mixer here. Okay, so these two here are the problem areas. So I know I want to turn down the audio channel 6. That's where the music is. It's way too loud. So I have the audio muted on my computer so we can just look at it visually while I'm talking. You can see the audio channel 6 way too high. So we can click on this slider and just bring it down. Okay, let's take a listen now, unmuted.
Sweat Treats hot sauce blends rare chilies and refined spices into subtle heat and layered complexity. Sweat Treats hot sauce blends rare chilies and refined spices into subtle heat and layered complexity.
Okay. Let's go back to the pops.
Sweat Treats hot sauce blends rare.
Yeah, those are a little bit too loud.
Rare chilies and
Now on these, I can go ahead and bring down the mixer knobs, but sometimes it's actually just easier to click on the white line and drag them down.
Sweat.
I think I'm going to do that for this. So we're taking about approximately 7 to 8 decibels lower.
Sweat Treats hot sauce blends rare.
Okay, so that's the basic process. I don't expect you to be masters at mixing and mastering audio. This is just another piece of the puzzle in taking your work from After Effects into another Adobe program, taking the video and the audio together, in this case voiceover, music, and sound effects, all in one piece, and then mixing it together so it sounds good, and then getting ready for export. So after everything is polished and you're done, you still have to export it from Adobe Premiere. It's a little bit different than After Effects. So here you're going to go to File, Export, Media, and then this is where you can choose where the file gets exported to. You can choose the file name, and then use the H.264 format. However, in my case, I had the square video, square composition for my animation. Will default to doing it full HD, which is not square. It's the horizontal video landscape 1920 by 1080. So I have to go in and change that. So if I toggle down video where I see frame size, I'm gonna have to go to custom, press the unlock button, and type in 1080. So it's 1080 by 1080. And then everything else should be okay. And I can go to export. It's going to export very quickly. Now let's take a watch.
Sweat Treats hot sauce blends rare chilies and refined spices into subtle heat and layered complexity.
There you go. And that is the file you'll be uploading for the Canvas submission and for getting feedback from your peers. All right, that should be all you need for wrapping up Project 2. Again, please, before the deadline, feel free to send me work in progress or post it. If you have any questions, ask me about things specifically that you would like feedback on. The main thing is that after you get this ad created, after writing and getting the voiceover, however you choose to do it, the video, the motion graphic element, having it very dynamic, lots of stuff going on, so it keeps our attention, it keeps it moving. There's not any kind of stale, boring areas. We want to have it poppy, we want to have a kind of energy. That's important for a 15-second ad. So the main thing is to have something very designerly, visually beautiful, and with lots of motion that keeps us interested. Now, I say lots of motion, there is a caveat. I realize there are some styles that may be more minimal, but even something that is considered minimal shouldn't be boring. Okay, you can do minimalist design and still have really elegant motion that keeps us engaged. Okay, so it's a fine line, and minimalism is not always the easiest style to go for, especially in getting started in motion graphics. But if you want to go that route, great. You just have to make sure that the visuals back up the lack of energy that might be happening in your video. All right, so you get the project exported, get your audio in there, have it all cohesive and working together, and get uploaded and prepared for making comments on your peers' work and where they can make comments and give feedback on yours. And just let me know if you have any other questions.